Hola, mi gente. Welcome to another episode of Sazon Talk with Amanda.
And Janelle. I'm
This
here in
is
my
episode número
pajamas.
9.
Ooh, we're almost at 10. How does it
Yeah,
feel?
it's so cool. I'm just like, oh my god, this is real shit.
Okay. I don't even think I felt like that when we did our first 10. I was like, oh, okay. But us doing our first 10, like, I'm just like, oh my God. Like, we've done this consecutively for
Yeah.
some
Like,
time now
yeah, like we only took a break obviously because of the
for the holidays.
holidays. But that's about it. Other
Yeah.
than that, we
So,
probably would have been like what, at 14 right now?
which is crazy. Excuse my yawning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a cold Friday when they were
It
recording
is very
afternoon.
windy, so if you hear like some wind crap going on in the background,
Like,
it's
you
because
will hear
it's
that
like
swishing sound because it's cold.
it's
But
cold.
shout outs to Amanda. What was your friend's name that did the live the other day?
Well, her name is Miguelina, but we call her Lena.
All right. So shout out to Lena for joining Amanda on our first ever Instagram live.
Mm-hmm.
You can rewatch that on our
Our
Instagram
Instagram
page
page.
at Sazon Talk. So just make sure to tune into that. What else is going on? It's a new year. We're almost at the end of the first month of the new year. Um, what have you been watching? Because I heard Birdie told me you finally finished Selena. So
I did. I finished the Lena in one day.
yes, we did too when we watched it months ago.
Yeah, I actually watched it. I think it was Sunday, and then I went out to work, and I was just like, all right, I got 2 more episodes left. So once I came home, that's when I went straight to watch it.
Those were the longest 30 minutes I think of every
They weren't
episode.
even 30 minutes.
See, it was a 26, 27. Like,
No, they were like 38.
yo, but it feels like an hour. Every episode
It
felt
does.
like they were long as fuck. And I was just sitting here. We were sitting here. And we were like, how did we finish this in a day? It was just like, I was like, it's like 30 minutes an episode. Like, what you expect?
Yeah, when I checked, it's like 38, 37. That's like the range. But like the
So,
last ones were like almost 40.
yeah, the last ones were longer than these
Yeah.
ones. That I do remember. So, what were your thoughts on it? Because, people were getting pushed back about it. When I originally brought it up a few episodes ago, you didn't watch it yet. I didn't want to spoil it. So, I was
Mm,
just waiting for you to finish it. So, what were your thoughts on the series itself?
I loved it. I love the fact that, it showed from where they started.
Mm-hmm.
Like obviously in the movie it shows like when the dad is in his band, and then Selena now is a little girl and hears her dad singing. Now she starts singing, and then boom, she's like dancing and cumbia and stuff like that. But this one actually shows, you know, the dad hears her singing,
Mm-hmm.
and now he's like, showing the kids how to play all this stuff, and how Suzette was just like, drumming is for not for girls, it's for guys and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And her fits and the struggles that they had as a family was just like, well, you're not in sync, and then you're not in sync type of thing. And then losing their house on multiple occasions, when they were doing the touring, and the guy was trying to sell their house without even letting them know.
Right? Like, I was like, that's shady. But then Abraham came back and was like, Abraham put a stick on the table and was like, I'm buying the whole block.
He said here's one house, and she said, oh, okay. And he goes, boom,
There's
here's the
another.
second house, and oh wait, here's the
There's
third house too.
another.
And it's just like, wait, what just happened?
That's some, if anybody, any dude ever came and said, yo, I bought 4 houses, I'd have been like, so are
You're
we
insane.
flipping them? What are we doing? Because
Right.
that shit is weird.
Modeling them, like, what the hell? Like, why did you buy, like,
Like, is
fuck?
everyone getting a house? Like, what does this mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, but no, I love the fact that I actually really love the fact that I felt like the show wasn't really about just Selena. So I
Yep.
just feel like, and for her sister Suzette to be one of the executive producers of the show, I felt that it definitely had that touch that it needed,
Mm-hmm.
where the movie, really just focused on Selena
Selena.
and her life and things like that. So to know
Yeah.
like Abraham had the baby and Suzette then finding that she really loves playing the drums, and it just was like,
Listen,
oh,
I got so emotional when the little
oh that
girl
little girl,
when they were in Mexico, and
she
Suzette's like, "Oh,
snuck out.
Selena went inside the car already," and she was like, "No, I'm looking for you,"
Yeah,
and Suzette's like, "Me?" She's like,
yeah. I
"Yeah,
was like,
you like, I want to be a drummer just like you," and I was just like, "Oh my god."
yeah. It was funny because so when me and Mikey were watching it, because I'm not emotional like that, but I was just like, I was like this, because the scene before that, she was sneaking out. So
Yeah.
in my mind, I thought she was sneaking out to see Selena. So I was just sitting here like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, she gets to see Selena, cool. She's there, she snuck out. But then when she told Suzette, no, I'm looking for you, I said, oh man. And
Yeah.
I know that had to make
That was
her
a
feel
whole
good.
twist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
plot twist. Like I was like, I wasn't ready for that. I was like, oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, and I like the fact that it showed their struggle with the contract producers.
Yeah.
You know, like the first one that they had, and then the other guy that had nobody. Basically, Selena and her siblings were their first ones ever, and just the whole promises stuff and stuff like that. And I guess like because that's what I'm saying. Like, I thought it was Selena and Dinos, and then actually you find out with the contract thing that it had to be just Selena.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, wow, like it sucks. And even the whole thing with AJ, with trying to like, they was like, you we got to get like a different producer. She's like, no, like he's no, like he stays
No,
there.
my brother is
Yeah.
the one that produces everything. So I don't
And
know what you
even
guys
like
are
his
talking
struggle,
about.
I think me and you were talking about this through text, just his struggle on like trying to find songs and something that was gonna work out and stuff like that.
Right, because that's not easy. Like
Mm-hmm.
anyone that songwrites or like does music, like it's not the easiest craft because you don't know what's gonna pop. You don't know what's gonna explode in front of you. You don't know what's gonna be a great hit or not a great hit. Like you just don't
Mm-hmm.
know. So like songwriting is not easy. So with Mikey,
Mm-hmm.
he writes and sings. So it's just like, but he prefers to write, and it's just like his writing game is wild. Like I'm just like, whoa, sir, like you wrote that. So like songwriting, and it has to come to you. It's not something that if somebody gave you a deadline, you can meet it all the time. Like it
Mm-hmm.
has to. You have to invoke emotion and feelings into the song. So that's not always a time sensitive thing. So that was the weird part. But the thing I was upset about was the cliffhanger of all time when they slowly introduced Yolanda, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Are y'all serious right now? Like, I gotta wait how many months until this whole new series
What is
come
it? I
out?"
told you May 16th.
I'm actually really happy because I feel like every month there's a new thing coming on TV. So
Okay.
like my show, Queen Sugar, which is our own. So I really actually like, people be shitting on Oprah, but I actually really like the Oprah network. Like
Okay.
most of my favorite shows are on there. But Queen Sugar is one of my absolute favorite shows on that network, and that comes back I think next week or within the next 2 weeks. So that's February. And then March, trying to think what show comes back. Oh, Grey's comes back in February.
I have to catch up on grades. I have not watched this season.
What?
I have not. I've been so stuck because we've been watching Jersey Shore on Thursdays,
I gotta catch up on Jersey Shore.
and we've been watching RuPaul on Fridays. Then Monday I have Raw, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if you were watching it, but Love and Hip Hop had like a little 4 series type of thing.
So I like peeked in it. Like I saw a clip of it because I live on YouTube when I'm at work. So
Mm-hmm.
I was watching clips of it, and just the clip of I saw the clip of Erica and Safari talking about like more kids or anything like that, and then she just ratted him out. She was like, "Well, he called me fat," and that's why
Yeah, so
I
what
was like,
happened was that
"Whoa."
and I think this was the last like the last one that they did.
Oh, okay. I
So
was
they
just
were
so
talking about like, you
confused.
know, like she saw somebody with the baby and she was like, and she's like, well, you wouldn't want that? Like, why would you want that? And he just stood there quiet, like,
Because she said that, but it's like, listen, when you get married to someone, or really when you're dating someone, there
mm-hmm.
are important questions to ask.
Well, she said that he didn't tell her that he didn't want any more kids after they got married.
But the thing is, sis, you probably you need to ask those. You didn't ask probably either.
She probably did, but the thing is that the reason why he doesn't want her to have kids anymore is because he told her she was fat while
Right.
she was pregnant.
Which is fucked up.
Right. So that's why he was telling her, like, just get a surrogate. And she said, I'm not Kim Kardashian.
Right. And no running, like, listen, if you can, like, giving birth to a kid, like, to a child is definitely an experience. I have not experienced it, but I've known people that have. I'm a product of one. So, like, it's an experience. So, to get,
Right.
like, if you are healthy and can physically and mentally do that, that's probably the route you want to go. You don't
Right.
want to spend thousands and thousands of dollars putting your shit in someone else when you can't do it. So that's probably her mentality, was like, listen, I had my son, he's a teenager, we now have a little one, like I want another one. Like, and Erica, even from earlier seasons, had always said she wanted more kids. Even when she was fucking with Rich, she was just like, you know, I want more kids, this is it, you know, this is what I want. But like I said, there are certain questions that you have to ask before you start dating someone. Like, what are some, like, when you started dating Andre, what questions did you ask?
Oh, I let him know right away. I was like, I ain't here to waste my time. I was like, I'm getting older. I know what I want. And, you know, I want kids. I want to move down south. And what was the other ones? I can't remember
Those
exactly,
aren't
but those
questions.
were
Those
like,
are more like,
oh no, I let him know.
These are the like, you gave him non-negotiables, sis. Like, you were just like,
But
if you
I
want to
asked him
fuck
how
with
did he
me,
feel
this
about
is
it.
it.
Like, I asked him how did he feel about it. And so, like, he was like, you know, he was going to move down south once upon a time. So he never thought about it, like, that he would do it again. But then he started looking into it. And he was like, you know what? I'm actually interested in doing this. He was saying, of course, I want kids. I just don't want them right now. And I was just like, I mean, I understand. I'm not saying I want them now. But now I'm kind of like, bro, I'm
But you kind
29.
of like, but you, first of all, you've been on that type of time where you're just
I have.
like, that's, you know, it's so funny. That's what you and your roommate have the most in common with, probably, is the wanting of, like, my biological clock is ticking. What's up? Like, the both of you, I don't know who's worse. Probably you, but the both of you. So shout out to Brittany, who is once again my best friend and Amanda's roommate. And she was on our last episode of Sazon Talk. But you two hoes, y'all just be wanting to pop out these babies. And I should be sitting here like, I just want somebody to get married so I can be drunk at their wedding and have a good time.
I mean, I do want to get married. That's obvious that I want to get married. I mean, I did get married, but I have my dream wedding. So, which is
what's your
bonus.
dream wedding?
So,
without saying too much.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say too much because I hate when people take my idea and then I get pissed off. But
I mean,
I'm
obviously,
girl.
And I promise you, just like wrestling, it's recycled. Like, I'm pretty confident someone's probably already done it.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Like one of my, what I call her, my meatball. She did something like what I wanted, where it's kind of like rustic, but mine's is more on the countryside.
Ooh, okay, I like it.
So, but her venue, oh my God, was so beautiful. But you see, like, I would wanted to do it obviously somewhere in down south.
Ooh.
So yeah, that's what I'm gonna say.
Okay, that's fair. Because you know what? It's funny because I never grew up like that. Like, oh my God, this is my dream wedding. This is what I've always, I didn't grow up with that mindset or that, like, imagination, which I feel like kind of hinders me, because at times, like, when everyone's like, oh my God, and I just be sitting here like, okay. But over the years, as the older I've gotten, I've realized, like, if and when I get married, definitely destination. Definitely that. It's either destination or the other part would be where my best friends would kill me. So I probably prefer
Oh,
destination. Oh yeah, because I feel like I'm the type where I would go get married and not tell anybody. So they would kill me. So I
yeah.
can't do that. So destination, it doesn't have to be like my dream place would be New Orleans.
Mm,
But so it doesn't have to be a beach type of situation either. But my
okay.
mind with destination is like, I know way too many niggas. So doing it somewhere else cuts that shit in half. Like, oh, you can't come? Oh, it's okay. You
But
can still
yeah,
come in.
that's always been my, because people always, let me tell you, the day that you get engaged, everybody's gonna want to be your friend
Why?
because they want to invite.
No.
That's how that's how it is.
Listen, if I ain't fuck
They
with
see
you
like, oh my
within
god,
listen,
congratulations.
no, I would
When's the
never.
wedding?
First of all, I'm not wasting money on a plate on a nigga I haven't ate bread, I haven't broke bread with in over a year. So no, there's
Yeah.
guidelines, there's levels to the shit. Because it's so funny. I think out of the both of us, I probably have the majority of people to invite, but I wouldn't like some things. Like I think a big part of it is because I've shared so much of other parts of my life, like doing the podcast and doing the viewing parties and going to shows. And like I've been so public with certain things, but I just feel like that's the one thing I would totally like. It's exclusive VIP shit, and like don't take it as a diss to you if you don't get invited. Like you can still send a gift. I would gladly accept a gift at all costs. But that's all I'm saying. I just, 2022, somebody need to get married so I could go get drunk and have a good time at their wedding. Bless you. It's been
Thank you.
overdue. So hint hint wink wink for anyone that's watching.
Just saying.
Would okay, so question, because there's a question that I had asked Mikey the other day. Because I feel like once again, conversations like within your relationship and like even either from starting to the beginning or whatever, like you gotta have constant conversations. So one question I had asked him, I was like, well, how long you would want to be engaged? Because I feel like that's also too
Yeah.
that plays a factor, because you have some people that want to be engaged for like less than a year and want to get married within a year. And I'm like, but it takes about a year to plan a wedding. So what? So
Yeah.
how long would you want to be engaged for?
I'm not
Ballpark. It doesn't have to be
sure.
exact.
I would say maybe a year. Only because I've already been through the process, so I already know what I'm
You know
doing.
what? So that makes sense of why he said what he said, because he definitely said under a year. And I looked at him like,
Yeah, because he knows
what?
what to expect. He knows
But
like friends.
this ain't
Hmm.
his first merry-go-round. So it makes sense that you say the same thing. Because I sat there
Yeah.
and was like, nigga, what? Like, it takes a year to plan a wedding. Like, what?
Listen, I've seen people, like Dre's sister, she got engaged 4 months later. She got married, and I was like, wait,
Was
didn't
she
she get?
pregnant?
No, she wasn't. I mean, she's pregnant now, but it's been like a
Oh, see?
while.
Oh,
It's
okay.
been a yeah, no, like I think it just has to do with like so actually after they got married, his because they're super religious, so their pastor announced that he was being ordained the next day as a pastor,
Oh.
as a like a reverend, I guess, type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably why they were kind of pushing it, so that way he can be married and then become the ordained minister.
Oh, because those are okay, yeah. I get it.
Yeah, so and then now they're expecting their first baby.
Ooh, you gonna be
Yeah.
auntie.
I know. I gotta go. That gives me a reason to go back to Kentucky. I'm excited.
Ooh,
Yeah. I
that's exciting.
definitely told Dre, I was like, we have to come back. Because we literally flew in, went to the wedding the next day, flew like, basically the morning of the next day. And
Oh,
I
you
was
flew
just
with me.
like,
I be in and out.
yeah, I was exhausted. And I think we had an event that day too. That's why we had to leave so early.
Okay.
Because he was like, yeah, we got to be at at Legends, and I was just like, ugh, I just want to sleep.
I'm dead. All right, so let's jump into actually this episode's topic. It's something that kind of came across to me, and I was just like, I think I've experienced this, but my co-host disagreed with me. So this is our first debate, our first disagreement. I'm excited. So the other day I was looking online and I saw an article about does everyone have three loves?
Mm-hmm.
So in the three loves, you have the first love, which is probably someone you dated young, like
Mm-hmm.
it's a high school sweetheart or someone in your early 20s, even mid 20s, depending on, once again, how out there you are. So the first love is like the puppy love. It's the love that, you it's not really love, but it feels like it, and it's your first go around.
Mm-hmm.
Then the second love is the love that hurts the most. So when you think the first love hurts the most, the second love comes in and says, "Gotcha, bitch." Actually, I'm the worst because it's the love that hurts, but also teaches you the most. And then the third love is, the love that you end up either being with or sharing a life with, and blah, 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 blah. Could you have multiple? Could you have more than three loves? Absolutely. But the article I thought was interesting because I was like, okay, I think I've experienced this. And it was a conversation I had with someone, a good friend of mine, we've been friends since I was a teen. And I always actually consider him like low key my first love. Or he's always the love that got away type of thing. So when we were talking about it, and then I saw that article, I said, oh, we gotta talk about it on Sazon Talk because this is just this is the perfect platform. I can't talk about it with these niggas on Job Tears podcast. They'd be like, they talk about wrestling moves and sex all the time. So I just was like, I'm gonna save this for me and Amanda. Mm-hmm. So Amanda, your thoughts, because you said, Janelle, I don't really think so.
Well, you did a twist on me because you didn't tell me you can have more after. I was just like,
yeah,
that's why I disagree with
life.
you.
Like, I mean, you have people like, like yourself that has been married already, stuff like that. And you probably never, in your mind thought like, okay, I could probably find another love or things like that. Not saying you couldn't, but like mentally, I think divorce definitely plays a different role because I've seen it, from a home aspect, with my parents divorcing, it just was a very different outlook on like how my mom and both my dad, how they both just actually like ended up moving on in a sense and how they did things differently after that. So, but I guess for the discussion topic, why do you not think that everyone has three loves?
Well, for that reason, because of the fact that I was like, more? No, you can have more than three. And the only reason why I'm saying is because I agree with the first three you were saying. Because obviously I've been through the high school. I've actually had like 2 high school loves.
Ooh.
But they were like I was 15 with one, and then the other one we dated from 16 to 18. And of course, when we broke up, I was just like, "It's my world, and I just love him so much."
World is gone. Like, listen,
everything hurts. Like it sucks like hell, and
I'm not gonna hold you. That breakup definitely triggered my whole phase. Not gonna hold you on that. Like, I definitely got in that snap of like, fuck niggas get money.
Yeah.
like for real. Like, I look back, I'm like, yeah, I really just stopped giving a fuck. Like, that was dangerous. Don't do that.
My second one was obviously my ex-husband, where I thought that he was my everything. I was able to kind of unsee the real truth, because I was just like in love with him. And then of course, after like the breakup and stuff like that.
How did he propose? I'm nosy.
So
Girl, it was don't do this to me. It was basic.
it was basic.
No, like he didn't roll over and just say, "Babe, let's get married." Okay, well, how? Okay,
No. So what he did was, like I say is basic because I knew originally what he wanted to do, and I was just like, see, that would have been so much better. But
what?
yeah. So it was for my birthday, and his dad is a pastor, and his dad had just finished reading me a scripture from the Bible, and then we prayed, and then basically when I opened my eyes, he was like, you know, say he said a little something, whatever, and then he got on a knee, and I was just like, oh my god. And then I kind of like, I don't remember what he said because I was just like, is this really happening in his house, in front of his parents? Like, Amanda, what the fuck is going on right now? And then, I saw it was the ring, and I was just like, oh. And then I was just like, okay. Like, okay. And then, like, a side of you is just like, you're supposed to be emotional because that's what you think that you're supposed to be emotional and stuff like that. I wasn't emotional. It was just kind of like a shocker, and I was kind of bummed that it was at their house. So originally, because he plays the guitar and he sings, so originally he was gonna do it at a retreat that we used to go to, where my best friends would have been there, and he was gonna do it like kind of where the trees are, like under the stars type of a thing, and he was gonna sing our song, and then he was gonna continue having my best friend sing, and then he was gonna propose to me.
Wait, so how did you get? I'm sorry. How the fuck did you know the first plan?
Because he told me his original plan.
So why would he do that?
Yeah.
He's a dumbass. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I
we've
was
already
just like,
acknowledged that he's a dumbass from previous episodes.
I was like,
But
motherfucker. Like,
so
in
then,
my
what?
heart, I was
What
like, I
made him
wish that would
change?
happen. I don't know. Honestly, I don't really know.
Because then it sounds like he really made it about his family and not about you guys.
Yeah,
Because the
it was
original
definitely,
sounds like
yeah.
something you totally would have loved and enjoyed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not crazy about the whole family thing there. Maybe because I know how his mom and I were. So the fact that I was just there, I was just like, oh God. And she was more excited for him. Like, she was hugging him and, oh my God, my baby. And like, not like, let me see
Oh
your
my
ring type of
God,
thing and
I'm gonna be
congratulating
your
me.
daughter-in-law.
Yeah, like
Hey,
it was nothing about me.
weirdos.
So I guess that's why I wasn't emotional about it.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so, that was like my second love. And then, my third love is, Dre. So, I was actually telling Dre that because I started going to school, and in my first ECE class, which is early childhood education, they teach us the basically what the scientific ways of, like, this is what happens from birth to, like, your, like, let's say, like, basic stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and then it tells you, like, the preteen years, and then it gives you the age to 25 for you to really understand what you really want. And so she was talking about how so many couples that have gotten married early end up in divorces because they found out that was not what they really wanted.
Okay.
And so I found that to be true because everything I wanted that I kind of knew that I wanted, I kept just kind of shutting it down because I was just like, it's all right not to want what you want type of thing. You can't have everything. And I just kept shutting down all my needs.
Girl, you could have every and anything. The fuck?
Well, it was mostly a family thing where they just kept saying you're being too needy, you're asking for too much, you got to accept what you get, and that's it. And so that's kind of like where I was just like, I just got to take it as is and just go with it. And so, he was from the church, so that was like my check, and a man of God, so that was another check mark. But then everything else was just like, It's just red flags.
So
But you know,
the cons outweigh the pros.
yeah.
You know what's so funny? So with me and my, I guess you could say my first love, I guess, which would be my ex that I was with for seems like an eternity, but it wasn't. Before we got together, I'll never forget this. We went to I think Diary of a Mad Black Woman had either just came out or like it came out recently. So there's a scene in that movie.
Love that
Where
movie,
Janet
by the way.
Jackson, love. I'm secretly gonna probably watch it because once again, R.I.P. Mrs. Lee Tyson.
That's right.
I'm probably gonna watch every Madea movie that she's in within the next like week or so. So I gotta start off with Diary of a Mad Black Woman. So there's a scene where no, I'm lying. It's not Diary of a Mad Black Woman. It's a scene in Why Did I Get Married? With Janet Jackson. So Janet Jackson, if you did not know in the movie, spoiler alert, she's like a therapist. She's like a counselor and stuff like that. She ends up counseling like her friends or other people, but mostly it's like her two girlfriends and their husbands and stuff like that. So they the both of her girlfriends were having issues in their marriage, and she gave them an activity. And when I watched the movie, I was like, this is stupid. Who does this? I ended up doing it. But in the movie, she tells them, like, stop being so selfish and stop being so prideful. Like, this, and she gave them the activity. She said, listen, split a piece of paper, put a piece of paper in half, one side pros, one side cons. Write all the pros on one side, write all the cons on the other, and actually look and physically see what the individual brings to the table or how the person makes you feel, or is this worth it because the pros outweigh the cons, like those type of like physical things. So at first I was like, this is stupid, I wouldn't do that, like, but I'm watching a movie and I always just, I don't know, I think I put it in the back of my mind because I was like, it sounds stupid, but it probably, I'm a visual learner, so I was like, I probably might come in handy one day. So fast forward to, I'll never forget it. It was the day Michael Jackson died. But before like everyone knew he had passed, me and my ex had went to we went to lunch. We went to BBQs, over on 168. We went uptown. So we went uptown. But before then, we had agreed. We said, listen, because we were at a point where we didn't know if we wanted to turn our friendship into a relationship. It just was a very blurred line of like what to do. Like we had feelings, we just didn't know what to do with them. So I said, you know what? How about this? We do the activity like they did in Why Did I Get Married, and actually see the pros and the cons. Because sometimes you need to physically see in front of you what's in front of you.
Right.
So we went to BBQs and we ate and we exchanged lists. So we went over the list with each other. And of course, the pros outweighed the cons. Like the fuck. But we needed to actually see it at that moment and for what it was worth. But then I think I probably, because my mouth is reckless, if anyone does not know that already. And sometimes I say things that I probably shouldn't know. Right. Or I say things sometimes that doesn't always consider the person's feelings. I know I'm good for that.
Yeah, and then they're looking at you like, Janelle.
Yeah. Like, so I get that all the I'm my mother's child to the fucking T, because she does that all the time. It was something I said to him that rubbed him the absolute wrong way. I can't remember what it was, but it actually rubbed him the absolute wrong way. Like to the point where like we got on the bus, we took the M2 back down. No, was it the 2 or the 4 bus? I think it was the 4 bus. Because because it turns, and because he lived on the east side, like I told you before, and I live on the west side. So we took the 4 bus and he stayed on the bus. So we took the 4 bus. When I tell you, it was the most awkward bus ride ever. And we was already on 168 and we had to go all the way to 110. That nigga did not talk to me. He didn't say anything to me. And the reason why he was so upset, because he just felt like I didn't take him serious. Like he just was like, I want to be with you and you make it like a joke. And I was just like, when I get awkward and nervous, I make jokes. I'm sorry. To this day, I'm like, when something's serious or like, I'm like, ha ha ha, because I get nervous. So like, I don't want to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
But then we get home and then we find out Michael Jackson died, unfortunately. So then we both was like, damn, all
Right.
right, maybe there are bigger things in life than being angry at each other. But I say that in saying, like, I think it's an awesome exercise. So anyone that's listening, whether you're in a relationship or not, I think to know what you want. So going back to what you said at learning in your class, where like you don't really know what you want until like you're around 25. In all honesty, did not know to probably like 30.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone is
Yeah, they
different.
say it's like around, like they say 25, but it's like in that age, 25 to 30.
Yeah,
You don't
it was
really
a solid.
know.
I think it was after, like, I think that's why I said I think it's important to have at least two loves, because it's that first love, it's that puppy love, it's that, all right, I can kind of do this, but I might not have been ready for it all at that time. And then that second love, which is the one that honestly does hurt the most, is the one that teaches you the most. And
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't until then where I was like, okay, now I know what I want and I know what I actually deserve
Mm-hmm.
because of what I went through with the second love. So now it's just like, all right, I don't, it's crazy. I feel like I don't require much. So it's just like, I don't get why some people found it hard to follow through. As high maintenance I probably am on the outside, I'm actually really low maintenance when it comes to my relationship. Like, I don't need much. I require consistency, communication, honesty, and for you to be present and for you to protect me, my mental space. And that's not hard. I mean, it is hard for some people, but I don't think it was that hard. But
I think also, like, going back to our last episode with the love language,
mm-hmm.
I've never taken the love language before dating my past exes. I took it while dating Dre for
Mm-hmm.
the first time. And I was just like, oh, and but obviously when I started to break it down, I was just like, well, this makes sense. And then as I got older, and I was like, yeah, I definitely do want that because I lacked of it. And
Right.
so that's why, like, it totally makes sense to me. And I definitely would highly recommend everybody to take their love language, and then you learn a lot about yourself.
Right. And I think that's honestly in any scenario that you would want to learn more about yourself, because essentially learning more about yourself helps and guides you whether you're in a relationship or not. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's the one thing the biggest thing I learned after dealing with my second love was being by myself is okay. Like, I like me. Like, and I think that takes time and understanding your needs and your wants. And once you have a clear idea of that, then really if there's someone that enters your life, they're just going to add to it. They're not going to stress you out. They're not going to make you feel bad about certain things. They're just going to add to it. And it doesn't always have to be an abundance of an addition, but they
Mm-hmm.
have to be able to add something. And it doesn't always have to be monetarily. And I think sometimes as men, being the prideful human beings that they are, they worry so much about being able to financially support, you as their partner, when in all actuality, not everybody, as we living in a pandemic, not everybody got it good. So you can't sit there and fault someone, for their shortcomings. But if this is somebody you see yourself with, you make it work. Like,
Right.
and I think sometimes it's hard for men to understand that concept of, like, it doesn't always have to be a monetary thing.
Yeah, and I think that because we're lucky enough that we've had different experiences where I know somebody that has been with this person since pretty much their teenage life,
Ooh.
and they have kids together, and she's in her 40s now, and they split. And, you know, the relationship was on and off toxic. And she was so accustomed to the toxicity that she didn't realize that she was continuing to look for toxicity in her next relationship.
Because that's what made her comfortable.
And it's
sometimes you
just
got to
like,
do things that make you uncomfortable.
right. And that's what I was saying. Like, we were, you know, me and you were both lucky enough that we've had those different stages compared to she didn't. Because straight from teenager to her middle years, she's been with that person, never experienced anything different.
Well, I feel like I wouldn't say experience anything different. Like, I'm pretty confident if they've had ups and downs, that she's experienced heartbreak, she's experienced disappointment. Like, she's experienced certain things that we've all experienced. It just so happens it was the same nigga. So, which actually makes it a little worse. It's just like, he's no good, sis. Like, let that go. But
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, even she's brought it into the same relationship because the relationship is kind of the same. The guy is toxic, but you know, she doesn't really.
She don't connect the dots on that.
Yeah, like if you could tell her, like, girl, you're in a toxic relationship. She's like, no, I'm not.
Well, what's so toxic about it?
I can't say.
Okay.
Well, all right. I'll give a little.
Not all of it. Like, let's
yeah.
one thing.
He's aggressive.
Oh.
Like, verbally aggressive and controlling.
That get your mouth popped.
Yeah.
That'll get you pop out.
And so, yeah, he's aggressive as a person, and then he's controlling at the same time.
See, and you know, it's just like I said. I think the biggest thing I've learned in my third stage of love, which is current, is it has to be a balance. It has to, and I told Mikey that this morning. I said, there's a balance. Like, I don't feel like I'm carrying everything, or I don't feel like I don't feel that pressure that I felt before. I feel like there's a balance. I feel like there's a consistency there where it's like, okay, I'll do, you'll do, and it'll be what it is.
Yeah.
And I think when you have, and it, like, because I tell people I'm probably not the easiest person to date, because I just end up doing whatever I want whenever I want. And I give the deal with it. Like, it is what it is. And most niggas like shit like that. And it just be like, you're weird. But they like it, but they don't know really how to deal with it. Like, they'll be attracted to it, like, oh, you know, she has everything. She got a good head on her shoulders. Like, you check all the boxes for them. But then when it comes to you, they're like, spare minimum.
Right. Yeah, I think I've had people ask me before in the past, like, what makes Dre different? Like, you were just married. Like, what makes him different from your ex-husband? And I'm just like, well, for 100% sure, the communication.
Right.
You know, there's times where, there's times occasionally where he doesn't listen. But, you know, or there's times as well that I don't want to listen. Where we both, that's where...
I feel. Listen, I feel so bad for that nigga because what? And he definitely probably listens more than I do. I will give him that, because I should be like, okay, whatever. I listen when it matters.
Right. Not like, yeah. I mean, this, because we both could be stubborn, very stubborn. And but the communication, like, even now, like, our communication is so much better. The way that he shows his love for me is different, because he, my ex, when we were together as boyfriend and girlfriend, he showed. But when we became a married couple, it's just like it disappeared. It didn't exist. And that's a lot of issues with a lot of married couples. It's just like, yo, bro, like, remind me why you fell in love with me type of thing. Like, you know, it's not
Shit don't stop
bad
once you
to.
get you sign a paper, and I think sometimes people get tricked up off of that, which I think is why it's so important to have that foundation solid, and you guys never lose the fun. Like I think that's sometimes why I've always was hesitant to getting back in a relationship, because I didn't want to not have fun. Like I was just like, I like my life, and I like having fun, and I like to do certain things, and but to be able to find someone that just as equally likes to do those things, and knowing that it makes me happy. And I think that's also the difference, is like him being able to be like, if this makes you happy, I'm game. And it's just like, what? Because I'm so used to doing for everyone and everything. So like when someone steps up and is like, oh, we'll do something that you love, that's fine, as long as you're happy. I was like, are you okay? Like, are you sick? Like, are you sure? And it's just like, yeah, like I like flat out will say, I've never had anyone just file be like, I just like seeing you smile. I just like seeing you happy. And I'm just like, oh, that's weird, but okay. That's and it's like, it's so nice, but it's just like so foreign to me. And it's not to say that other individuals wouldn't have wanted that, but just to not only say it but actually show it too is very, it's a different, it's like, oh, whoa, I don't know what
Yeah,
to say.
it's definitely different. Even like the constant, like, you know, he's reminding me of how beautiful I am, and I'm just like, this is so weird.
So
Like,
weird, so weird,
you know,
so
because
weird.
yeah, you know, growing up in the household that I was in, you know, I've been called multiple stuff.
Right,
You know, I've been called like the beast because, you know, I was on the heavier side, so they were like, here's the beast coming type of thing. Or like, you know, just very hurtful things that you don't think that you're
right, that
hurting
you
a
don't, and you don't
child.
think highly of yourself after that. So it's definitely like, it's so foreign when somebody be like, oh, you so sexy, and all the stuff that I'll be like, what are you
Yeah, and I'm like,
talking about?
what about me makes me pretty? Because, you
Right.
know, especially like,
But then on the flip side, then the question is like, well, why don't you think about that about yourself? And I was just like,
I don't know.
I don't know. Like, but a big part of it is because, growing up is that whole, like, when you essentially, it's because they always say your first real love is supposed to be your dad. That's just what society kind of puts in the atmosphere. And it's just like, that's not everybody's story.
Yeah.
Even, and I tell people all the time, like, especially people I went to like junior high school with, because my dad was so involved like in the school, and everybody loved him, and then everybody would look at me like, well, why don't you like, he's always around, he's always there. Having someone physically there is one thing. Having someone mentally there and mentally preparing you for the world and mentally preparing you for how a man is supposed to love you are very different things. And I did not get that. So it's just like, it was definitely a learning curve, and realizing like, okay, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, what am I willing to put up with, what am I not willing to put up with. So it's just always on some, like, it's like almost self-taught, so it makes it a little harder, but it doesn't make it impossible.
This conversation that we're having reminds me of my sister, well, one of my many sisters. But she broke up with her boyfriend around September, and so she was 17 at that time, and she was, you know, that whole, I love him so much.
Devastated.
You don't know how bad this hurts. And I was like, I do. Like, I've been there,
Sis.
done that.
I
We
know.
think we love that person, but trust me, you're like, you just stink. Like, you know, you learn from this person. Like, you don't know, I want to marry
No, but
him. Like,
I think though, I will always, and it's funny because, so I actually recently saw my ex not too long ago, like maybe like 2 weeks ago.
okay.
When I was uptown, for my homegirls like gathering. Because once again, Harlem is small. Everybody knows everybody. And we, being with him like 6-7 years, we, mutual friends ended up just just naturally happened.
Yeah.
And the person we were kind of like celebrating and, just loving on, is a mutual friend of ours. So like seeing him, it's just like I will always, and that's the one thing I had to come to realization. I will always love him. No, like, and it's not a shade to anyone, past, present, future. That's just what it is. I'm always gonna have, like, we're always gonna be bonded to each other in a way where I can recognize I will always love him, and I think there's always gonna be a love there, but I'm not in love with him. I don't have that feeling of wanting to be with him. I don't have that feeling of missing him. I don't, because he's obnoxious as fuck. So I don't have that. But I think what helped that is the fact that we were friends first. And like I think I said, when we talked about our exes before, for me, the biggest thing was I lost my best friend when we broke up. So for me, like us being now in our 30s, he's in a relationship, I'm in a relationship, like for us to separately be happy and be in a space of that, but then can come together, still laugh, still talk about, he always want to bring up old shit. And it just be like, what? Like we was at the thing and he was just like, remember when I got arrested? And I was just like, that actually is not funny at all. I don't even know why you still to this day think that shit is funny, because it ruined everything of that night. Because I had to go get your ass from the fucking booking. So I don't understand. It's from the precinct. So I was like, I don't understand why you love bringing up this stupid ass story. But he's like that, where he'll bring up stupid ass stories, and then he's terrible at storytelling. So then I end up having to take the story away from him and be like, all right, guys, let me tell you what really happened. Because he's a terrible storyteller. But I say that in saying, like, just you can recognize, for your sister, eventually she'll understand that too. Like,
oh yeah,
you always will have a love for the person, but there will be a need to be with the person. And it's not a shot to them. It's not because they are terrible. It's just at the end of the day, they're not the person for you. They're a person, whether it's someone you with or, friends or anything. People are with you for seasons. It could be a long season. It could be 2 weeks. It could be 2 years. People are there for a particular season, for a particular reason, for a particular time. And I think the older I've gotten, the more I've realized that, not everybody's going to go through your journey with you, whether it's friend or somebody you're dealing with. And that's okay too. Because I have that like feeling sometimes where I'm like, well, I don't want this person to miss out, like, or I don't want this person to be disappointed, but it's just like, at the end of the day, it's okay to choose you. And I think that's the biggest thing as women we sometimes forget, is that choosing you doesn't mean that you can't, it's not a bad thing. So I leave that off with Janelle's gem of the episode. Love yourself, because if you ain't, how somebody gonna love you if you don't love yourself?
That's right.
Can I get an amen?
Amen.
There you go. So shout out to RuPaul. I gotta watch one more episode. I think I'm an episode or 2 behind. So I'm gonna catch up on that. I'm gonna try to catch up on it today, amongst other things.
Because that tonight's another episode.
I know. So I'm just like, but I'm watching SmackDown, so you gotta give a little to take a little. But any last words, Amanda, before we do wrap up this episode of the 3 loves of our lives?
Not that I can. The only thing I can think of is I will be doing another Instagram live this coming week. Sorry, I look so tired.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
Y'all got the bedroom edition of Sazon Talk, because I'm here in my onesie and I'm about to go take a nap.
She about to go take a nap. I'm about to get ready to go to work, and I'm just like, I just want to be in bed. And then I got girls' night later tonight, so I'm excited.
Well, that's good. That's fun. I miss having a girl. Well, we'll plan one soon.
Yes.
I got a winery for us. Ooh. I got a winery for us. It's in the Poconos. It's in Pennsylvania. Because me and Dan.
And shout outs to Indoor Dining opening up soon.
Zaddy Cuomo, open up.
Listen,
and I'm hyped because
I miss it.
We probably won't go out Valentine's Day because he has the baby, but Mondays is our day. So the next day it works out perfectly, because then restaurants will be back and, be with it. Oh, I can go smoke hookah inside. Yes.
I haven't done hookah in forever.
Maybe we should do that. Go smoke hookah and eat. Well, Anyway, but
But
yes,
yeah, I
shout
will
outs
have
to
an IG live this week. I will be posting. We'll be talking about domestic violence. So stay tuned to that.
awesome. And then hopefully the next episode won't be via our bedrooms. We will be back in the studio. Because we have some cool and exciting topics coming up the next few weeks. So we definitely want to give you guys some more content, some more things to think
and then
about.
we are working on the blind date.
Yes. So, and I'm leaning towards doing it live. So, next week, no, it's in 2 weeks. I was like, oh my god,
Yeah.
February is like tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. We definitely, if you are interested in maybe being a contestant or participant in our blind date episode, please, you can DM us or message me and Amanda personally, or you can DM Sazon Talk on Instagram. Anything else? Once again, you guys can subscribe to YouTube, Java Tears Podcast Network, where you can not only find Sazon Talk, but all other shows under our Java Tears family network. So, of course, the original Java Tears podcast, Two and a Half Bros. You can find Game Night with Mike and Nelly, which Amanda and Dre were our first guests. And then our second episode just came out with my bestie Britt and my annoying brother and friend Lawrence from Two and a Half Bros. So tune into that episode. We do have another episode dropping coming in 2 weeks in honor of Black History Month. We're doing a Black Love series. So so just stay tuned for that. And then once again, make sure to follow at Sazon Talk. Once again, if you have any topics that you would love for us to dish about or any guests, now we're gonna get in the realm of getting guests on, because people have been asking from the beginning, can I get on? So I wanted to personally hit episode 10 before we really got some guests on with certain topics. So if you are interested in being a guest on Sazon Talk, make sure you can message us at Sazon Talk on Instagram or personally on Facebook and also on Instagram. But I am Janelle.
And I'm Amanda.
And you have just listened to the latest episode of Sazon Talk. So thank you guys so much for joining us and viewing. Until next time.
Bye.